In this video, we're going to talk about basic prepositional phrases. I want to make sure that you can identify basic prepositional phrases before we start talking about the function of prepositional phrases, because much like noun phrases, prepositional phrases can fill a variety of different functions in a sentence. So the first thing I want you to be aware of is the form that a prepositional phrase takes. So a prepositional phrase is going to, of course, start with a preposition, right? That is going to mark that it is a prepositional phrase. So let me give you a couple of examples. We use to, of, and with quite often, right? So those are all prepositions. Then we're going to need to have an object of the preposition, which I will abbreviate as OP for object of the preposition. Now, often these are nouns or noun phrases, but they can also be other types of clauses as well. We're going to stick to basic noun phrases for now, so we'll start simple and then we'll get more complicated as we continue. So for instance, I could say to the store. Right? I could say of a kind, or I could say something as simple as with her, right? All of these would be considered to be objects of these prepositions. So these are all prepositions. These are all objects of the preposition. Okay. And in this case, they are all also noun phrases. So good to be aware of. What I want to do now is I want to look at a couple of sample sentences from Sarah J. Maas's Court of Thorns and Roses. So we're first going to identify the prepositional phrases, and then we're going to do form function trees just for the prepositional phrases so that you can get an idea of what they look like. Okay. So let's scroll down just a little bit. So Lucian dropped me on the floor of the manor hallway. So first up is to find prepositions. So Lucian, not a preposition, dropped, not a preposition, me, not a preposition, on, ooh, that is a preposition. So on the floor of, ooh, we have another preposition, the manor hallway. So that very likely means that we have one prepositional phrase here and one prepositional phrase here. Right? So I've just underlined the two prepositional phrases that we're going to be working with. So let's go ahead then and diagram them using form function trees. So as per usual, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by writing the words that I need to work with. So we'll start with on the floor. And my next step is going to be to identify the form of each of these words. So on is a preposition. The is a definite article. And floor is a noun, right? So do you remember if we have a definite article and a noun, what form is that? If you said noun phrase, you are correct. So this on its own is going to be a little noun phrase, which means that our full prepositional phrase will include our preposition and our noun phrase. So this is prepositional phrase number one, right? So that's the form. Now let's look at the function, right? On, in this case, on the floor modifies or explains where I was dropped, right? So we're just going to write modifies dropped, because oftentimes prepositional phrases modify things. The is a determiner, floor is a head word, floor is also the object of the preposition, and the floor altogether functions as an object of the preposition. So in terms of thinking about the function, those are our functions. Okay, so let's go ahead then and take a look at our second prepositional phrase, which is a little longer. And once again, we're going to write it out. Of the manor hallway. Okay, so of, we have a preposition. The, we have a definite article. Manor is a noun. Hallway is also a noun, right? When we have a definite article followed by any type of noun, what we have is a noun phrase, right? And so then our prepositional phrase is going to include our preposition and our noun phrase. So let's talk about the function now of the manor hallway. So in my mind, of the manor hallway is describing floor. So I'm going to say that of modifies floor here. The is a determiner. Now, manor is certainly a noun, but here it's telling me the type of hallway. So it's actually functioning more like an adjective because it's modifying hallway. And then hallway is the head word of our noun phrase. It is also the object of the preposition. And much like our other one, all three of these words, so this entire noun phrase is also the object of the preposition. So I'll scroll down just a little bit so you can see that, right? So here we have two prepositional phrases. One of them is modifying the verb, and one of them is modifying a noun. So one of them is going to be functioning adjectively, right? So this one, number 2, is functioning like an adjective, where number 1 is functioning like an adverb. And so I think it's just useful to be aware that even when you have the same forms, they can still have different functions. So let's take a look at one more example. So one of the knives from his baldric was missing. So once again, we're going to go through. One is a pronoun. It's not a preposition. Of, ooh, is a preposition. So of the knives, from is also a preposition. So I'm going to stop there. So from his baldric was missing. So was is going to be a verb, as is missing. So we have, once again, 1, 2 prepositional phrases. So let's go ahead then and explore the forms and the functions of those. Okay. So of is a preposition. The is a definite article. Knives is a noun. Here we have a noun phrase. And so then together, the preposition and the noun phrase gives us preposition number 1. Now, of, so one of the knives, in my mind, it modifies the word one, which tells me that it's functioning like an adjective overall. The is a determiner. Knives is the head word of the noun phrase. It is also the object of the preposition, as is the whole noun phrase, right? So this one is functioning like an adjective. And then if I look at the second one, from his baldric, once again, we have a preposition. His is a possessive pronoun. Baldric is a noun. So a possessive pronoun in this instance functions like a determiner, right? So what we have here is a noun phrase. And then we have our preposition. And so our preposition plus our noun phrase gives us our second prepositional phrase. So from his baldric, well, in my mind, that modifies knives, right? His functions like a determiner. Baldric would be the head word of that noun phrase. It would be the object of the preposition. And then this whole part would be the object of the preposition. So noun phrase 2, because it's modifying knives, also functions like an adjective. So these form function trees that I'm doing, like on their own, don't like assign any meaning to the words. What they allow me to do is to distinguish the form of the words from how they're functioning. So it gives me a way of plotting that information. So when you're identifying prepositional phrases, largely what you're looking for is the preposition and then the group of words that follow it that function as the object of that preposition. More often than not, it's going to be a noun phrase of some sort.